Welcome, and thanks for joining. My name is Candace Jackson, and I'm a Capital Markets Associate in the Corporate and Securities practice. Today, I'm going to talk about Nasdaq's proposal to adopt listing rules related to board diversity. On December 1st, 2020, the Nasdaq stock market filed with the SEC a proposal for new listing rules related to board diversity and disclosure. The new proposed rules are intended to advance board diversity and enhance the transparency and comparability of diversity statistics. The new rules will require Nasdaq-listed companies to have or explain why they do not have at least 2 diverse directors, including 1 director who self-identifies as female and 1 director who self-identifies as either an underrepresented minority or as LGBTQ+. Listed companies would also be required to provide a standardized board diversity matrix to disclose directors' self-identified gender, race, and ethnicity, and LGBTQ status. Foreign issuers, including foreign private issuers and smaller reporting companies, would be able to satisfy the board composition requirement by having 2 directors who self-identify as female. Disclosure of diversity statistics would be required within 1 year of SEC approval of the proposed rules. Companies would then be required to have or explain why they do not have 1 diverse director within 2 years of SEC approval and 2 diverse directors within 4 years of SEC approval. If the company is listed on the Nasdaq Capital Markets tier, they would have 5 years to have 2 diverse directors. For purposes of the proposed rule, underrepresented minorities include, consistent with the categories reported to the EEOC, individuals who self-identify as Black or African American, Hispanic or Latinx, Asian, Native American or Alaskan Native, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, or 2 or more races or ethnicities. LGBTQ+ means an individual who self-identifies as any of the following: lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or a member of the queer community. The proposed rule is a comply or disclose rule, which means that Nasdaq is not simply requiring that public companies add additional diverse directors to their boards. If a company chooses not to or is otherwise unable to comply with the requirements to have the minimum number of diverse directors, they are only required to disclose the reasons why, along with providing the statistical information regarding the number of directors who identify with the various racial and gender identities and sexual orientations. Companies will be required to use Nasdaq's board diversity matrix or a similar form of matrix. The goal here is to create uniformity within the disclosure. And the SEC's public comment period closed on January 4th, and we can expect the SEC to take action regarding the approval or disapproval of the proposed rule in the coming weeks. This proposed rule seems to be a natural progression of the shareholder activism we have seen over the past several years in the form of calls to increase gender and racial diversity on public company boards and to improve transparency around disclosure of diversity characteristics of public company directors. It's important to remember that Nasdaq is itself a public company, and as a public company, it's made its own commitments to diversity and inclusion. It also has a female CEO, and it's not surprising that Nasdaq would take the lead to propose these rules. You can read more about this and other topics on our blog, Free Writing and Perspective.